there, thrill seekers. Can you see Ziggy back there behind me? There he is. Just want to make sure you see him. Everybody needs to see Ziggy. He's the star of every video. Okay, what you just saw was a little snippet of the video I did for a song called 10,000 Words in a Cardboard Box, and that was shot entirely in Europe, on location in Germany, Finland, and England during my recent tour there. And I'd like to thank all the people who participated in that, including some of the people who shot the scenes when I'm in them. I wasn't shooting it. So thank you a lot. And the song is I didn't write that song. It's actually first appears on this album, Think Pink by Twink. And Twink was a member of a band called the Pink Fairies back in the day, and he also played with Syd Barrett. He was a drummer for Syd Barrett's band after Pink Floyd, very short-lived band. I think they only did about 3 gigs. But the reason I did that song is I have a connection with it. I play on the live version of the song released on this album, Twink with Plastic Land, You Need a Fairy Godmother. And I don't know if you can read. Special guest, Brad Warner, guitar, 10,000 Words in a Cardboard Box. So I played on the version that's on this record. Very hard to find. It's on Midnight Records. If you check Discogs, you might be able to find a copy. So there you go. That's the reason I did that song. All right, today I want to talk about something that I found interesting, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to communicate this very clearly. I had a whole different idea for a video today that I was going to do, that I all planned out, and then I read this thing. So I might do that video I planned out tomorrow, I don't know. But I've been having some trouble with one of my teeth, and I had to go back to the dentist because he put a temporary filling in there, and then the temporary filling fell out, and I had to go get a new temporary filling put in. It's like, no, he's not peeing back there. Okay, he's not doing the thing where he pees on screen again. But anyway, so as I was waiting for the dentist to see me sitting in this little dental chair there, as you do, I started looking at my Kindle, and I just downloaded this thing on Kindle. It was one of the free things you can get on Kindle, and it is Thomas Cleary's translation of Eihei Koroku. It's called, let me see what it's called, Dogen Zenji Goroku, Sayings of Zen Master Dogen. But I believe it's the same material as is called, commonly called Eihei Koroku, or Dogen's extensive record. I haven't read much, I just was reading the intro, and this thing in the intro really stuck out to me, so that's what I want to talk about today. Alright, it's about Dogen's enlightenment experience when he was in China, studying with Master Tendo Nyojo. That's how I learned the pronunciation. Sometimes it's called Tiantong Rujing, because that's more closer to the Chinese pronunciation, but it's probably not much closer than the Japanese pronunciation is, honestly. And Kazan, who we talked about last week, has a book called Den Koroku, which is Records of the Transmission of the Light, about the enlightenment experiences of various famous Zen masters of the past. And his account of the enlightenment experiences of Zen masters of the past, you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because he wasn't there, he doesn't know, but these are kind of the traditional, he compiled basically the traditional accounts. And here's his account of Dogen's. Now, he was a 4th generation descendant of Dogen. He was born after Dogen had already died, but he would have known people who knew Dogen personally. Some of the old-timers around when Kazan was alive would have been people who studied with Dogen. So he had a direct connection in that sense. So, this is what he wrote about Dogen's so-called enlightenment experience. Dogen studied with Master Rujing. Once during meditation sitting late at night, Rujing said to the assembly, "Zen study is the shedding of body and mind, or the dropping off of body and mind." Hearing this, suddenly Dogen was greatly enlightened. He went right to the abbot's room, to Rujing's room, to Tendo Nyojo's room, and lit incense. Rujing asked him, "Why are you burning incense?" Dogen said, "My body and mind have been shed." Rujing said, "What, you don't like that?" Rujing said, "Body and mind shed, shed body and mind." Dogen said, "This is a temporary byway, don't approve me arbitrarily." Rujing said, "I'm not." Dogen said, "What is that which isn't given arbitrary approval?" Rujing said, "Shedding body and mind." Dogen bowed. Rujing said, "The shedding is shed." So, it's hard to follow that, but basically what's going on is that Dogen had this experience of shedding, of dropping off body and mind, and Rujing is asking him not to be attached even to that experience, to drop even that experience of dropping body and mind also has to be dropped. And during the conversation, Rujing was satisfied that Dogen had shed, what has he said? The shedding is shed. So the dropping is dropped. So he's even dropped that dropping off body and mind. That's what's going on there. Now, the part that got me more interested than that part was this. The author of Denkoroku, Keizan, a master in the 4th generation of Dogen's lineage, explains. So he gives us a commentary, and he says this. Does he say woof, Siggy? He says, "Comprehend thoroughly, investigate, and penetrate completely, and you will know that there is a body that has no skin, flesh, bones, or marrow. This body cannot be shed even if one tries to shed it. It cannot be abandoned even if one tries to abandon it. Therefore, this realm is referred to by the expression..." Woof. Referred to by Ziggy. Hold on. Let me finish this. Is referred to by the expression, "When all is exhausted." I like Ziggy's version. "When all is exhausted, there is a place that cannot be emptied." Ziggy, what's going on? Are you seeing cats or something? Okay. What? He's looking at me. He's barking, and then he looks at me like, aren't you going to do something about this, whatever it is I'm barking at? Well, I don't know what it is because I don't see anything. Anyway. If you can understand thoroughly, you won't doubt what the Zen masters and Buddhas say. What is the principle? Clear as pure light, no inside or outside. Is there any body or mind to be shed? And that's what he says. Now, that all sounds weird, I'm sure, to most folks watching this. And I'll see if I can explain why I liked it so much. Wow, the sun is really getting me right here. But anyway, we'll continue. I got a lot of shine. I should get like a powder girl to powder my face up. Anyway, let me see if I can explain what's going on here before I get roasted. This really reminded me of something that came to my own mind, my own Brad mind, when I had that experience on the bridge. Now, I wrote I wrote about it in the book Hardcore Zen. I wrote about it again in the book There Is No God and He Is Always With You. And I talked about it on this video channel. I know I talked about it recently in a video called The Bridge, but that was more just I was in Tokyo showing the bridge where it all happened and how ordinary and silly the bridge looked and kind of ugly. I don't know if I talked so much, but it was an experience that's so-called Kensho or enlightenment, and I don't like to make too much of these experiences because like Dogen's teacher told him, you have to drop even the experience. But one aspect of that experience that sort of appeared in my mind in words at the time of the experience was this weird little phrase, "There is a bottom to all of this." That's how it sort of came out. And that was the only words I could put on what I had suddenly come to terms with or understood or seen clearly. And it's the same thing that Keizan says when he says, "When all is exhausted, there is a place that cannot be emptied." Actually, he's quoting somebody else, but it doesn't tell you what he's quoting. So he's quoting an older Zen master. There's a place that cannot be emptied. There is a bottom to all this, is how it came to me. And the feeling was as if if you were dropping into a so-called bottomless pit. I always used to hear that phrase when I was a kid and wondered, can there really be a bottomless pit? You know, they would always show up in cartoons or weird things. Somebody would fall into a bottomless pit and then catch the side of it and be rescued or whatever. And I thought, oh, bottomless pit, there can't be a bottomless pit. Well, there isn't a bottomless pit. But it can feel in some of the study of Buddhism and study of some of the things that occur with one when one sort of starts to mature into this practice, that you're just going on, you're like in a bottomless pit. You're just going to go down and down forever with nothing, absolutely nothing at the bottom. Like there is no basis for reality at all. What are you barking at? He's barking at things happening in the trees, but I don't know what it is. Maybe a squirrel? Anyway, Dogen talks about this, but Ziggy the Dogen, doesn't like the idea of the bottomless pit either. But there is the feeling was that there... Ziggy, can you let me finish my video? The feeling is like you could just go down forever and nothing would ever catch you. But there's the sense that I got during this experience was that there is a bottom to this. There is a basis for all of this, for reality itself. There is something that sustains it. The ground of all being and non-being is what my first teacher, Tim, used to call it. There is a ground of all being and non-being, and it is a ground. And there is a basis for all of this. This is why I wrote that book, There Is No God and He Is Always With You, because I thought, well, one thing you might call this is God. But it's not God in the sense of a white guy on a throne with a big beard who smites the Peloponnesians and, all that stuff. It's not that kind of God. Hope you can hear me over that plane. There was a rocket launch a couple of days ago. We were out walking Ziggy, me and my wife, and we saw a rocket launch. And apparently that was that, what was it? I forget what it was called. But it was in the news the next day what it was, but nobody expected it. I just saw this rocket go off. Anyway, so there is this basis for everything. There is a ground to all of this. It doesn't just drop forever. And that ground is, in this very weird way, the exact same thing that you and I both call myself. Whenever you think of myself, that is the ground to all of reality. That is where it stops. That's the bottom of it. And it's kind of an amazing thing, because cosmologically speaking, it has a lot of implications. And I don't like to speculate too much about the implications, but when I do, and all of my speculations are garbage. They don't amount to anything. But here's my speculation anyway. That you would think the universe comes from nothing. There was that book, I've referenced it a few times, I haven't read it. A universe from nothing. That it springs out of nothing. But it's not that it springs out of nothing. There's always something. And that something is the same as the something that is you. That's the weird thing. So I know that probably sounded like a bunch of gobbledygook to a lot of people, and it didn't make much sense. But the reason for saying things like this is that if you practice this stuff, one of these days, there'll come a day when you'll be like, oh, that thing Brad said. It won't be necessarily the thing I said, but you'll be like, oh, because that's what happened to me. I was like, oh, all those things my teacher said, that was true. And it made sense, and so one of these days it'll probably make sense. That's all I can tell you. Not a promise, but a prediction of some sort. Whatever that plane is, it's circling around. I don't know what the heck that is. Looks like a little one. Anyway, that's probably enough of that for today. So if you want to support what I do, me saying weird things on the internet, you can go to the URL that you're seeing below, which is hardcorezen.info/donate. That is hardcorezen.info/donate. And as we've seen, YouTube is very arbitrary about who they will take off their platform. So This always concerns me, so your donations are important. I really appreciate them. But as always, you don't got to donate to me if you don't want to donate. This is the reason I don't do sponsors, because I know how easily this can be taken away from you if you say the wrong thing and offend the wrong people, because like I say, we've seen this happen a lot, and we're seeing it happen again. So I really appreciate the support you've given me, and thank you very much. Have a good time all the time. See you later. Bye. Hey, Ziggy. Ziggy, what was you barking at? What was you barking at? What was going on over there? Huh? Did you see something behind the fence or something? Alright, well, we'll let you keep patrolling. Thanks for keeping me safe. See you later, Ziggy. Bye.